Welcome to Fight Day Focus. My name is John Gooden alongside Paul Felder. We are your Yaz Island boys. I've just emerged from inside the building where I've been speaking to the main event athletes and also Corey Sandhagen. Let's check in and see what they had to say. I know that you have the lucky charm around the bracelet, but some new jewelry perhaps? What was this? What's the necklace?
I hope so you recognize it. It's Witcher sign, you know. So, you know, because I put some magic on the Glover when we do our face-off, that helps in that.
I love this about you, Jan. Well, switching over to the fight then, this has been a long camp for you. You've had Glover in your sights for a very long time. You came out early. You've been around the fighters, feeling that energy all the time. How ready are you now to get inside that octagon and defend your title?
You know, I was born ready. So I'm ready, always ready. It was great camp for me. It not was long, you know. I have a long time to think about the fight, yeah. But camp was same like always, you know. But it was great camp. Good sparring partners. We do everything what we have to do. So I'm ready for tomorrow. You know, new adventure, new experience. Only one thing was gonna be the same. It's we're gonna hear and still.
Now, there's a lot of mutual respect between both you and Glover, but it got kind of intense up there, both yesterday and today. What kind of energy are you feeling from him?
You know, good energy, you know, good energy for me, you know. We've got a lot of respect, but inside octagon, we have to do our job, you know. So inside octagon, no friends, just fighting, you know. And this is part of the fight. So I have to watch, you know, to his eyes and feel this energy, you know.
It's been Glover's birthday this week. Do you have a present for him in the octagon tomorrow night?
Yeah, I've got a present in octagon. He don't like it, this present, but I've got something more. I have to catch him today and give it to him.
Lastly, a prediction from you, champ. How's it going to finish tomorrow?
Second or third round, KO.
Love it.
Of course, I KO Glover.
You've fought at the highest level for the longest time now. Is there anything that Jan can surprise you with tomorrow night?
I don't know. We see, but I don't think so. I know he got the power. I know he's a great fighter, man. But you know, I trained my ass off for this. I trained so hard, and I'm coming after him, and I feel pretty confident I'm gonna be the champion.
There's been a long line of Brazilian legends that have held this light heavyweight title. What would it mean to you to add your name to that list?
It means a lot, you know. It isn't about like the Brazilians or anything. It's about me, man. I come out over there. Of course, I want to bring that belt to Brazil because we have tremendous support in there. But America as well, you know, Connecticut is over there waiting for me. The whole state of Connecticut, New York, and next week I'm gonna be in New York with that belt.
Love it. Listen, thank you very much. Have a great fight and happy birthday once again. Aside from getting your hand raised tomorrow, what is the #1 priority for you in this fight?
#1 priority, man, is work hard for 25 minutes, stay focused for 25 minutes, and stay skilled for 25 minutes. The 25 minutes is the only thing that I care about in this trip to Abu Dhabi, and I'm ready to perform in those 25 minutes.
Now, yesterday at the press conference, we saw Piotr Jan was a little bit like the fun style of him. There's a little bit of gamesmanship. I know you're a well-considered guy. Did you have to prepare for those kind of antics?
I don't know, you know, you never really know how these guys are going to act when you come out here. But nah, man, how they act is how they act. How they conduct themselves is their business, and how I conduct myself is my business. So that's
you didn't flinch?
Oh, you're talking about with that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, really grateful that I didn't flinch because, you know, that would have been a really hard one to swallow. I would have got a lot of, you know, messages from friends if I would have flinched in that one.
Yeah, I bet. Well, good stuff. Listen, how does the perfect way for Corey Sandhagen, how does it look tomorrow?
It just looks like me walking out of the cage with a gold belt around my waist. That's, you know, that's the scenario that's perfect, regardless of how it happens.
Hey, listen, this is a great fight. Have a good one. It's going to be really good fun, and we'll see you tomorrow. Guys, back to you. So, Paul, I enjoyed those conversations. It's been interesting starting with Glover first. And you actually said this. I alluded to the fact that he was turned like that whole friendly Glover turning into Wednesday, turning into the Warrior. But you've noticed something throughout the week when we've been speaking with him.
Yeah, because I've ran into him quite a few times in the hotel. Obviously, in fighter meetings, we sat down with him. He's just been positive. It's his birthday this week. He's just really taking in the whole moment and just enjoying this journey, right? He's not thinking too much about the belt itself, just thinking about the opponent. But Tonight we saw that switch happen. You asked him about it during this interview. He said, you know, this is when it happens, tonight. And you can see it, and I've even noticed it. I got to say hi to him tonight. He's very cordial, he's nice, but he's leaving something behind, right? He's not giving you that kind of same energy. You can tell that he is turning that face into, you know, it's war mode. He's going to go out there. He's got a job to do, and it's tomorrow now.
Yeah.
And it's clear to see that in fighters, and he's definitely one of them, because when somebody's so nice like he is, when they start to make that switch, it becomes pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, you're not really quite as nice as Glover Teixeira, but no, definitely. You said that this happens for you as well.
Yeah, especially when we have these ceremonial weigh-ins, right? When you've got a crowd, when you're a numbered event, when you get to do this in front of a crowd and you get those nerves. You know, it's one thing to do it at the Apex in Vegas, all well and good. You do a little face-off. It's usually right after the weigh-ins, but these guys have had time to go rehydrate, fuel up, feel good, start to think about their opponent again. Now they get to see them, and it's one more night, or as John Anik would say, one more sleep. You go out there.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. The tensions rise when these guys get that last little stare down, that last moment of, all right, this is the last time I'm going to see you before I get to go out there and go after you.
Glover could join a pack that includes Vitor Belfort, Machida, for those, you know, Shogun who have worn that 205-pound belt. And that must mean a great deal to him, especially given how close he's been in the past and then the body of work. Those guys are still around him today as well, Paul.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, these Brazilian champions, and he wants to be such a part of that. You know, you can tell that's just, it's the last thing on that list that he hasn't had the chance to check off. He's checked off, all right, I fought it. I fought one of the GOATs in this entire MMA community, and John Jones didn't go his way that night. But then he goes and has this resurgence. And to do that, the storybook ending is for him to sure go out there and be able to finish somebody like Jan Blachowicz, who's as tough as they come. If he can do that, I mean, he can do whatever he wants for the rest of his career.
Legendary status.
He's got that belt.
Yeah.
He's accomplished that one thing that every fighter wants. And it's to be the champion, to hold that belt, even if it's for one fight at this point in his career, at 42 years old, to be able to end this winning streak that he's on with that belt. I mean, they'll make a movie about that someday.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And switching it
Hopefully
over
I'll be in
to...
it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, Brazilian move. Yeah.
I got it.
And then on the other side of things, Jan's interview quite different. Started off like he's going to put some sort of spell, the Witcher spell.
Showing his secret nerd a little bit out there, right?
Yes.
He's got the sword at home. Now he's got this necklace referring
Yeah, he's
to
got
this
the
Witcher. Or,
yes.
Right? I wasn't even sure what it was either, but he clearly knows what it is.
Yeah.
And such an interesting guy,
He
right?
really
he's
is.
this stoic, Polish-looking superhero type guy with this legendary power that we always speak of. But he's this kind of soft-spoken goofball in a lot of ways too. But even with Jan, you can tell he means business. When he's saying, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to finish him tomorrow night. He'll be honest. They're buddies, right? They like each other. There's no bad blood. But that does not mean that he wants to go out there and take him out as quick as he can in this fight.
Yeah, and he was definitive. He's looking for that knockout as well.
Yeah. I liked it. He said that, round
two or
round
three?
three?
Yeah.
That's a bold prediction. We don't normally see that from a lot of guys, right? They're a little reserved about that. But Jan is confident that he's not only going to go out there and get the W tomorrow night, but he's going to go out there and he's going to finish him early.
Do you think on the other side, Glover is perhaps investing in the third, fourth, fifth round for the way that he fights?
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't want that, right? If he can go out there and get it early. Of course, we all want that. But yeah, I would think that it's going to really be in those fourth and fifth rounds for a guy like Glover. As an older guy, it takes a little while to get going. Maybe he's got to take a little damage earlier, but man, he's like a diesel engine. Once he gets going, he's smooth and he's controlled and he's efficient with how he performs out there. If he can get that takedown, and God forbid Jan is a little bit overzealous and tries to maybe go in for the finish too soon, starts to wear on himself a little bit, that's what Glover does best, man. Gets to that side control, mount, takes the back. Maybe doesn't get you in that second round, that third round. You start fatigue when he starts to put that weight on top of you and that pressure. You give your back again. That's when he looks for that choke.
Keys to victory then. Just go for it, one on each. What do you really want to see from Jan in order for him to retain his title?
I think Jan's got to be patient, right? He's got to take his time. He doesn't want to burn too many matches too early because that's what Glover is hoping for. He's hoping he comes out, he tries to knock him out. He doesn't get him out of there. Jan will slow down a little bit, right? That power will be there. Cardio is there, but he's a bigger guy. You don't want to be throwing too many power shots and missing. Be accurate with your strikes and take your time. The power is there for Jan Blachowicz. Wait for the shots. Don't force anything. You've got 5 rounds. Take your time.
It's legendary, that power.
Legendary power.
Yes. Don't just say Polish power on the
No, I know,
commentary.
it's
legendary,
legendary
Polish.
Yes.
Yes, that's how it works. And on the other side, flip it over. What about Glover?
I think Glover's got to go in there, get in this face, try to get some clinch situations and dirty box. That's where Glover does some of his best work. And from there, he can wear on him, right? Pull on that neck, throw some uppercuts, level change. You might not get the shot right away. You might not get the takedown right away in the first round. But the more that you can make Blachowicz work, the more you can make this a dogfight, dirty, gritty. That's what he wants to do.
Sounds awful.
Right. But that's the way Glover fights. That's the fights he wins. Sometimes he gets dropped. He drops to a knee. He's in on a single. He gets you to the mat. He did it against Thiago Santos. He just wore on him. He got hurt badly a few times in that fight. But once he gets top position and starts to use his jiu-jitsu, his ground and pound, people start to give up their neck. They start to give up that arm to cover up. The arm triangle comes, which he's so good at. Or God forbid you turn your back on Glover, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into the co-main event, which is also for UFC Gold, just going back to what we've seen in the weigh-ins, maybe this morning and just before us here at the ceremonials, and we've got to talk about Khamzat because he was the last to weigh in, and then we've had, but when he actually got weighed in, he was cheering. So his arms in the air. So he officially weighed in at 171. Clear of the towel.
Just shows you, don't play any tricks. You're gonna screw yourself over half the time. You're on weight and you're messing with things, and things looked a little shady in there. And then of course you take a lot of that away, and he's on weight. So it's like, well, don't do that. Just see where you're at first. He made weight. The fight's on.
Yeah, here we go.
He's got some things to take care of so this will be smoother for him next time, right? Because if he wants to stay at 70, which is what we talked about, this is where he wants to become a champion first. He's really got to figure that out. And I'm not saying there's any crazy controversy that he missed weight, but moving forward, he can't be having these kind of weight cuts every single time out.
Yeah, I think from what I've gauged, I had a very quick word with one of his coaches, and he's just like toughing it out. He's kind of just one of those guys.
Yeah.
So he could make it easier for himself. So I don't think we've got any problems seeing him at 170 in the future. But he also made it very interesting in the stare down as well with Li Jingliang. Also did Li Jingliang, right? They're ready.
That was fun, man. I knew that was the stare down for sure that I was looking forward to most. Because Li, he is here, man. He is here to try to upset this crowd. He's trying to upset Khamzat. It was a fantastic stare down. I mean, Khamzat's over on the side, shadow boxing the whole time, staying loose. Lee's trying to start some trouble. Dana White, you can tell he's loving every second of it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty intense between those two. All right, let's talk about that fight for bantamweight gold. Corey Sandhagen, just a well-considered, thought-out athlete who has put himself in this position, right?
Yes.
And that's all paying dividends. But where do you think his head's at ahead of his first crack at UFC Gold?
I think it's in a good spot. I think he knows that he deserves to be here, right? Obviously, he didn't get that decision against Dillashaw, but a lot of people had it swaying in his favor. But you know what? It was a super close fight and a great fight. Didn't go his way. He accepted that. He moved on. But things kind of fixed themselves and worked out perfectly for him, right? Here he is. Nobody else was able to make this call, and he's here fighting for this, and he seems ready, right? He's the kind of guy that stays in the gym. He's teaching the kids. He's training himself. He's helping his teammates. Over there in Colorado, those guys are always helping each other, right? So to be in shape when you're at that caliber and this close to a title shot, Corey's one of those guys. He's not going to let this slip through his fingers. He was in the gym. He's ready, and I think he's confident for tomorrow night.
Piotr Jan was ready as well.
And he looks in incredible shape for this one. I mean, he's always in good shape, but to see him at 135, the way he looked on that scale tonight, that boy's in shape.
Yeah, serious as well.
Yeah.
You're a master at striking, Paul. When you're up against someone like Corey Sandhagen, long, dynamic, very unpredictable, you come from a more traditional style, if you like, which I think Piotr Jan has. Like, how does he break through that? Or is that not the approach?
Well, I think he's just, for Piotr Jan, he's just got to be himself out there, right? He's an unbelievable striker. Good kicks, really good hands, and he's got great wrestling too. So he can always mix things in. He knows those knees are there. But his guard is always on point. He's always very defensive. He knows what's going on. He sees things coming. He's just got to be a little bit careful to not rush in, but he doesn't do those kind of things anyway. He doesn't make those big mistakes. So don't get too hyper aggressive to try to go in and get the finish, because a guy like Corey, you get him on his back foot, you think, all right, I'm going to be able to charge forward and really put it on him, and he throws one of these flying knees that you saw against Frankie Edgar, and your situation gets changed real quick.
What about movement? Because I feel like those flying knees can only really work if you're in front of Corey Sandhagen.
Yeah, you want to cut some angles for sure. You don't want to be just going straight forward and straight backwards. That's when he's going to be able to find you, and that's when Corey can start switching stances and finding his way around and kind of wrangle you to where he wants you. So as long as as long as Petr Yan is moving in the right directions and kind of just keeping his footwork on point, I think he's going to be able to avoid some of the crazy strikes. The spinning hook kicks, right? That's the other thing, though, he's got to be careful of. If you're just moving laterally the whole time, you've got to know that Corey will set you up, switch his stances, and start looking for spinning attacks from there. Spinning back fists, spinning elbows, spinning hook kicks.
And he's not the tallest guy, so is it less effort for Corey to get his heel up?
Yeah,
to try.
Might be a problem for Corey to have to not to overswing some of those kicks.
Interesting.
Right? You know, because you almost throw head kicks to your own height, right?
Gotcha.
When you're practicing them, you don't think, all right, I'm going to throw it to somebody who's shorter than me. So I know from experience, sometimes you'll be like, oh, I'm going to, and you'll actually go over the target.
Right. Okay. Oh, I can't wait for that fight. That is unbelievable. I want to give a little love to the only UK fighter. It's a European affair, but Lerone Murphy versus Maquon Amir Carney, Mr. Finland. This is a really interesting fight. Mr. Finland, massive wrestling background, very specialist with his submissions, but also like when he came to the UFC, an 8-second knockout against Andy Ogle, flying through the air. Super unpredictable. But on the other side, you know, Lerone Murphy's just diligently going about his work with a very MMA-based game.
And he's so modest. You know, when we sat down with him this week, he doesn't look past what's in front of him right now. I really like how he's just cool, collected, and he knows the task at hand is a challenging one, right? He knows guys are going to want to wrestle him. They're going to want to take him down. That being said, he said he's got a lot of Dagestani wrestlers that have been training in that gym over in England. So he feels like he's going to be completely prepared. And this is what he's been facing from the debut, right? When you get signed on short notice to face Tuhugov, and then you fight here in Abu Dhabi when we didn't have this beautiful Etihad Arena, right? The air conditioning was a little suspect in that arena. I fought that night. Those guys were basically suffering from heat stroke. It was so back and forth, so much wrestling. But I think he's ready for that kind of grind. And I think now he's got the experience under his belt to be able to keep this fight at his range. If he can keep it on the feet and at Lerone Murphy's range, he's dangerous.
And you say about fighting back when you were here on the card, this is the only place he's fought in the UFC. So he's actually quite comfortable coming out here to the Middle East, which is very interesting. Paul, it's been a pleasure working with you on this one here at Fight Day Focus. Any final thoughts before we move on about this card?
Just watch it. I mean, the prelims are great, and there's some fighters on this card that maybe if you're just a casual fan or somebody in the United States that hasn't been watching this one, tune in. These are some guys on this card that are absolutely fantastic fighters from all over the world. It's such an international delight that we have on this card, seeing fighters from every inch of the globe. Please tune in. For most of us overseas, it's free back home. You're a fool not to wake up and watch this one on ESPN Plus. Go tune in, check it out. You will not be disappointed. I'm telling you.
And just to layer Paul's point, this is the biggest night apparently in Polish mixed martial arts history.
Yeah,
with
we've got a few on the card,
with the three guys, but also for Russian MMA as well.
Yeah.
And of course,
it's like a home game for them here in Abu Dhabi.
It is. One of the Russians will be competing for gold. Fantastic stuff for you guys at home. This is a special presentation on ESPN Plus in the US and BT Sport in the UK. We start at 10:30 Eastern, that is AM, and 3:30 PM British summertime back in the UK and Ireland. Check your broadcast listings wherever you are in the world. And as Paul said, you got to watch this.
Watch it.
You got to watch it. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the fights.